On today's edition, quickly, I'm so excited about today. I must confess to you because, when you've been hiring somebody for a while, I'm not sure you're supposed to hear that, but today we are drifting into the affairs of Nigerians from the perspective of foreign relations and governance position between our dear country and the United States. And 2 weeks ago, the world eagerly watched the proceedings of the American election like life depended on it, right, Stanley? Isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So, yes, a lot and more depended on it. And the rationale is fundamentally simple. And that is because many nations and economics, depends on the internal affairs and the policies of the United States. The same can be said of Nigeria. Most of our trade relations, I would say economic, the financial circumstances revolves around the policies that are advanced from the White House in Washington, D.C. Hence, the reason for discussing this topic of foreign relations after a historical victory for Biden and, of course, his vice, Harris. So that one is an exciting thing on its own. We must talk about that when maybe one of our episodes in the next few weeks. So we'll be talking about this on the show today, ranging from the security support, the finance and loans, business and investment, immigration, travel, and of course, COVID-19 and so on and so forth. To discuss this topic with me is a Pan-African entrepreneur. I did oral English. He's a brilliant Nigerian ambassador who undoubtedly and beyond bounds has proven excellently well that the capacity of Nigerian youths attract a global reckoning. He is a speaker and the CEO of Red Africa. He is one of the 100 most influential young Africa. He is no other but Adebola Williams. Welcome, Adebola Williams, for joining me on the show today.
Excellent. It's good to be with you this afternoon, or this evening, rather.
Yeah, this evening. Thank you so much for creating it. I know that you're supposed to be in the studio today, but anything can come up as a businessman. So, how are you doing? I hope you've been keeping safe.
I'm well. I've been doing my best, and I think that's the beauty of technology. At some point you would have tried hard to get me into the studio, and then postponing the interview. But this pandemic has also accelerated us into the future where we all are quicker to use Zoom, phone call, and all the other things that reduce physical contact. So I think it's actually a blessing, in some areas. So I'm glad to be with you. And
yeah.
With you doesn't change anything. Let's get to it.
All right. Thank you so much. And I agree with you that pandemic at least has opened our eye to technology. And we say, oh, thank God for technology today. So the thick and thin, Adebola, the young and the famous, the rising and the reckonable force, if that's the word to use right now. Who is Adebola Williams? Our audience would like to know what's propelling you as an individual and how you made it thus far as a young Nigerian who is doing wonderfully well. And I'm putting a stamp to that.
Well, my name is Adebola Williams.
Yeah.
And one of the hardest things I have to do is introduce myself. So I'm not sure how good a job I would do. But I would say that, run a group of media companies under Red for Africa. And we own Red Media Africa, which is a corporate marketing media consultancy. We own Statecraft, which is a governance, communication, and election consultancy company. We own a number of other companies on the radar work digital space, content creation. We own a couple of platforms, Robin Max channels, Eboka is Sunday, Wine.com. We have a very successful NGO, the Future Africa, that does the Future Awards every year for the last 15 years and has trained thousands of young people across the country, with grants and loans, amongst other things. I'm passionate about development, especially for young people, for women, and for children. And media, the platform that I use to achieve.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that submission, Adebola. If it's possible, if you can help me speak a little bit louder and check the volume of your.
I see. How is it now?
Yeah, it's much better. Yeah. So, you're an intelligent, well-connected, one of the young catalysts in the spheres of Nigerian entrepreneurship. So perhaps you could be more functional and your burning potentials could be well exploited at the arms of governance in Nigeria. So let me ask you, what are your plans for 2023?
That's a good question. At the moment, I do not have any personal plans, but I continue to do my work in promoting democracy and helping, young people either get closer to power or building the experience of my company by working in the elections across the continent to build our capacity to be able to ultimately, help my generation get into the right offices that can lead our country to where we want to go to. So personal ambition at the moment, I do not have one written down. But to answer the question you're not asking, you have always said in the last, I think 1 or 2 years, that if there come a time when I think that perhaps, the next assignment is to serve people, I think I would not, hesitate if there come a time. But for now, my mission is enterprise, development, and to also work with those who have put themselves forward. That's my mission at the moment.
All right. So straight to business of the day. First things first, charity begins at home, they say. And you were on the bandwagon of campaigners for Buhari in 2019. So my question is, what are the pros and cons of Buhari's administration since 2015 from your own assessment? Okay,
so because you're giving me a third question for this interview, I had prepared differently, and so not mentally, open my mind to an array of different questions.
Okay.
I have prepared to focus, and I thought that we also had a close time there.
So
it intimated me that it was a freestyle.
Yeah.
I would have been able to prepare accordingly. Okay. I think that, the government has tried to do a number of big ticket projects around, the trains. They've also done a lot of grants and loans for SME here, for young creatives, amongst other things. But I think the summary is that, we continue to realize that we can just always hold government accountable to do better, to do more. And quite a number of things have also happened, at the moment, where it was clear that the government could have, taken different actions, shown, stronger commitment towards the people. And that's a continuing clamor. That's why even though we worked in elections, we never stopped building, teaching, and encouraging people to activate the office of the citizen. Because without the office of the citizen, you cannot make demands of government, because government are contractors. You've only put these contractors in place for 4 to 8 years to supply government. And if you do not demand from them, if you not go to site, you go and check on them, you will not find your gravel, your sand, your cement. So at the end of the day, what makes a government successful, is the demand of the people, is the accountability. And if you look on the continent, you find that there's nothing happening in Nigeria, that we can't find versions of it around the continent. We are still evolving, as a continent, to be able to practice real democracy and not monarchy, which is what we find mostly, even from the all-almighty Rwanda, where people would say, it's a benevolent, dictatorship. I admire President Kagame deeply, and I think that he's done amazing for the country. I think, I'm not sure if without him, they'll be where they are now. So coming back home to Nigeria, I do think that, there are many similarities with us and other countries on the continent. I think the people must continue to hold government after government accountable. I think the current government can do a lot more, especially in the areas of development and economic empowerment for young people who are the future of the country, because 130 million Nigerians are young people. So, yesterday I spoke to the Amina Mohammed, the DSG for the United Nations, Sunday Dari, the Minister of Youth, and the Minister of Women Affairs. And I said to them, you need to do more listening to young people and then empowering them and putting them in the center of execution in creating the future that they want. You cannot create a future for people that are not part of that system.
Absolutely.
So one more thing that the administration needs to do is to put young people at the center of the administration, is to make them, their think tanks and also those who are executing, these ideas and this future. Because many times you can come up with ideas and projects, but because you do not know the pulse of the people you're coming up with it for, it will fly over their head. And then the other thing that the administration might need to do better with is communication. Even the little successes, communicating them enough in the way that people can understand and be inspired. Because there is something called the psychology of hope, where people want to wake up and not feel like they're in a country that is not moving forward. So it behoves on government to actually be able to articulate whatever achievements they make, to be able to inspire the people and give them a sense that we are moving forward. We are not there. We might not be doing as much as you expect, but we're doing something. It's a number of those kinds of issues. And I believe strongly, in building bridges and in constantly engaging, everyone, getting everyone to the table, co-creating to be able to solve these problems, and ultimately create a better country for all of us.
All right. Many thanks, Adebola, for that. The primary goal of U.S. assistance in Nigeria is to support the country's development as a stable democracy while reducing the extreme poverty. So do you think Trump's administration was being fair to Nigeria?
This is America. He made it clear to you and I. So I don't think anybody should be shocked. I don't think there's anything wrong with a man waking up to say, my administration is going to be my people for my resources. It might have hurt the world. It might have not been good for different people who depend on them, but that's what he wants to do. And that's why, every president, has his legacy. So the real thing would be if Americans would then say, you did not improve our economy. And there's been a number of school of thought that said that he did come and improve the economy before the pandemic. So of course it affected Nigeria. The visa bans, change in all the visa structure. Nigerians move a lot to travel. We want to go to school. We want to do enterprise around the world. So surely it's affected us. Him stopping the Muslim killing Christians narrative as well. So of course further dented our image, and also his stance on energy, which led to a level of reduction in purchase of crude, which is our own main earning platform. So surely many of his stance did affect us as a nation. But I would not say Trump had any personal spectator with Nigeria or was opposing a fair one. I think it's those decisions that he thought were best for his people. I think those decisions were really best for America, as the big brother of the world. I don't think so.
Yeah, right.
It shrunk their influence and effect, and kind of gave room for people like China. And a few other nations to actually die. I was hoping, to be honest, Kike, that this Trump behavior will make Africa finally die. Will make Africa finally, come out shadow, of America. But, quickly China swooned in and called in, the powers that be, and entered into their own domination. So we are still...
I can't help but agree with you, but thinking about the security angle of the whole issue of Trump's administration, I remember Trump's administration recalled their soldiers and maybe tactical support in fighting Boko Haram. So that particular withdrawal battered the confidence in our nation's security against terrorism and insurgencies and all of that. Can we foresee support from a Biden-led administration?
I think generally American politics would usually show the the incumbent will try to outdo its predecessor. But the peculiarity of this particular one is that the Biden clique, are bridge builders. They're the ones who want to maintain the position of America around the world. So even if Hillary had won, she would have continued that big brother America type, position. I remember that Biden had said it's time to heal the land. And in healing the land, they also want to heal and mend relationships that they believe this current man ruined, and destroyed. And so, for them, it's important, both for what it is and for the optics. And Nigeria is key for the continent. Anybody that wants to engage the continent knows Nigeria is key. They do things with Ghana, but they know we're powerful. They know we're important. So I do think that, the Biden administration will, roll out those big brother type initiatives, which will include such support.
All right. So let me quickly use this opportunity to open our phone lines. You can please call us on 0700 923 923 923. Again, 0700 923 923. And of course, you can send us a message on our WhatsApp line 0817 313 6193. Let's hear your perspective on the topic at hand. If you have questions for our guests, please go ahead and hit us with your queries and comments. So, Debola, under the Trump administration, tens of billions of dollars for food, water, education, health, security, and other development needs were on the line. So, and the Trump administration was notorious, for a better word, pardon my word, for using aid cuts as a foreign policy strategy. So my question now is, with Biden's presidency, what should Nigeria or Africa, or Nigeria and Africa in general, should expect from the shrinking budget annually?
Well, I think that the Biden campaign has shown, a level of genuinity when it comes to the issues of the black man. And I think that would extend to Africa. He has a black and Asian vice president. He has a female vice president. These are things that the current administration does not reckon with. I don't think the current administration sees a woman worthy of this kind of position.
Sure.
Neither does it see black people in the same light. So I think that, he has demonstrated an unequivocal anti-racism position and inclusion for women. And of course, some people have said it's because to get black votes, to get women on the side. But we will see, time will tell. That's the truth, time will reveal. I have also, seen politicians, derail. I have seen people that I believe in, trusted in, and I've seen them, go off script entirely and throw everyone in shock and begin to wonder, what happened? So let's see. But if I go by what he's displayed so far, it does look like he would pay attention to those issues and reinstate, that connection. Especially the fact that he and Obama, have this, brotherly love type relationship. And Obama, did try to reach out to the continent. I remember that I was a fellow of an Obama Fed in 2016. He had the fellowship, across the continent. So yeah, I do think that with Obama around him, Michelle around him, Kamala around him, I imagine those would be, if not 2 out of the 3 closest people to him, at least 5. So I think that he would get Africa back. But listen, Kike, we need to stop waiting for him to get back. We can stop anywhere. We need to stop waiting for people to get back on track. We need to stop waiting for people to, this aid basket, aid mentality. We need to move away from it. We would have the largest population of young people in the world. We have talent who are doing well around the world. We need to fix our country by ourselves. We need to fix our own country. We need to have leaders who would see Nigeria the way the king of Dubai saw other parts of the world and came back and said, I will make my own country a formidable player in the global space. The way Lee Kuan Yew did in Singapore, the way China rose to become the top exporter from not even existing on that list a couple of, years ago. So,
Bola, can you kindly hold your thoughts? We have a caller on the line. Hello, what's your name and where are you calling from, please?
Oh, good evening. Adeyemi is the name.
What's your contribution today, please?
I'm pleased for you having this guest on your. Can you please tell us what APC government that is supported done in Nigeria in terms of electricity, petrol, the roads, the universities are closed down for many months now, and you are pressing. You are not talking about America. Let's talk about Nigeria. Don't talk about America. Don't talk about me. Let's talk about PMD. What has PMD done? What has the party done? We are blaming every day. They keep on blaming PDP. When they want to come in, they say they change. Where is the effect of the change?
All right.
The one of those ones that put for Buhari support for 40 million to nation.
All right. Many thanks for your contribution. Debola, do you have anything to say to that?
I think he should go on the streets and protest, like everyone was being unhappy with the administration. I think that I have made my fair share of protest. I have made my fair share of advice. I have made my fair share of admission. I continue to do that. I am president. I am not able to direct affairs of the government. There were people that believed in the Jonathan administration, and there were many people also voted for him in 2018. The same way, 2019, the people who don't believe the Buhari administration, and they don't vote for him in 2019. Some people get in power, some people do not get in power. I think our focus is to never be derailed by who is in office. Our focus is to continue to take our power as citizens. There is power as citizens. I kept telling people after 2015, I said the winner of the 2015 election was not President Muhammad. The winner of the 2015 election was the people, the Nigerian people who stood against a 16-year monopoly, who stood against a president who believed did not serve them any longer. And that thing is what we need to activate at every point in time. That is what America has shown. America made Trump a one-term president. If the caller really upset, then we should have made the current president whatever he chose to make him.
All right. So, Debola.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You can't blame anybody. It's important that I just finish the point because, you said the interview was recorded.
Yes.
So you thrown me off a few times, but it's fine. I'm not sure where this is going, but I'm here. I'm going to engage on this call. So, so the point really is, people need to realize that citizenship is shared responsibility. People that believed in Trump, for whatever reason, worked for him. And now, they can either lick their wounds, go and support somebody else, whatever it is. It's a marathon. It's a marathon.
All right. I agree with your submission. And I think that it takes every one of us to move this country forward. So, quickly, I must ask you this question before we go on a quick break. I think I want to deviate to the Nigerians diaspora, which is Nigeria in diaspora is rather perceived to have been having a tough time in Trump's administration compared to Obama's regime, considering Trump visa policies, just like you mentioned earlier, anti-African stance and his bigotry inclination for Nigerians and the most recent Black Lives Matters protest. So my question now is, Debola, what should Nigerian be expecting from a Democrat like Joe Biden in his coming administration?
I think Nigeria, like other in America, will pay more from the Biden administration. The man clearly said that your continent is a big hole, forgive my French, then, what more can he do to show you what he meant? And again, not to sound repetitive, but, the Biden administration will be almost a continuum of the Obama administration. And so you can expect that if Obama came, and all the things will be back. Obama has wrap up his visa going to White House.
Can you please speak a little bit louder?
Okay, is it better now?
Yeah.
Right. So I said, the Biden administration would be almost like a continuum, of the Obama administration. Like I said earlier, he has these 3 black people around here who I think would be in his top 5, go-to people. So I think that surely, they'll have a better time. But we must also remember that under Obama, there was police brutality in America.
Yes.
The Black Lives Matter, and all of those things, were on. So these things, as they say, life no balance. How do they feel?
Oh, yes, sir.
So even under Obama, there was also the height of police brutality. So we must also realize these things. They're not strange. They're not strange. There was a black president, and this racism thing continued, even at a peak, and I remember that there's been many, black people who said that Obama was not useful to the black community. There's been many, thought leaders who said Obama was not useful to Africa. It's an opinion that many people also share. So that's why, everyone must just look at it from, as much an objective perspective as they can, and then finally make your own decision.
All right, Adebola.